I've just seen a documentary called Hacking Democracy that was so shocking and so just sad. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes watching this. That what is going on behind the scenes in our country is so disturbing. It is so disturbing that I'm left speechless. And I think as a child growing up, especially in the American school system, and hearing it repeated over and over and over, that America's the great example of democracy and the freest country in the world and the best country in the world, we get so conditioned, and especially when you're young and a child, you generally don't have malice in your heart. And there's a sense of innocence and trust that we have towards adults and to people that are dispensing this information, that when we become adults, we get so focused on survival mode, paying bills, working job, and don't really invest enough resources in investigation of what comes through the media, what comes through our government, what comes through the politicians and from corporations. And there's a sense of apathy. And the apathy is created because people are generally so friggin' exhausted from running on the treadmill, from paying taxes, working 50, 60, 40, 50, 60 plus hours a week, taking care of the kids, feeding a mortgage, the cars, all the possessions, that the last thing people have to do is really become their own researcher, investigator, and verify what people say. Is it true or is it not true? And I just automatically assumed that something of this magnitude of deception and really destruction of the America that we once held as a great nation would be impossible to perpetrate. That there's no way that people could get away with something like this. And watching this movie, and then also there's been books, and it's pretty well documented of, in the movie they said no Republican presidential candidate has ever won an election without winning Ohio. And when you see what took place in Ohio, and some people waited 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus hours in the rain to vote, and how things were manipulated, that's shocking in itself. But then when you see how easy it is now with electronic voting to rig elections so your candidate that you support, one of the biggest, will win. One of the big companies is Diebold, and they, the CEO wrote a letter saying that he supports Bush, and that he'll assure that Bush wins Ohio. And I mean, it's just shocking. It's so shocking that you can't believe it's true. You just can't believe. And I think that's why it's just been bypassed of course it's been bypassed in the corporate-owned media, but it's just been bypassed by most people. There's just, if it's not in mainstream media, people will not pick up on it, and they'll just say, they'll just a bunch of weird people causing problems. I mean, it was brought up in Congress, and people attacked those that were questioning this defunct system in which we elect politicians. And it just is incredible. So I really encourage everybody to see this movie, Hacking Democracy, and then start little by little, as best we can, start investigating what goes on behind closed doors. It'll just blow your mind. And really, I've been a huge Netflix fan for years, and it's like $18, and you can get unlimited amount of videos. You get 3 at a time, and you keep them as long as you want. You can now even watch unlimited videos online for free, or with that $18. So you could watch a lot of just incredible stuff that for me has become my second university, the university education that I never got, of really becoming a questioner of basically what's going on, what is the truth. And that's what we really need to ask, is what is the truth, and not be spoon-fed what the truth is from mainstream media, but really have a heart that seeks truth by our own accord. Yeah, the thing is when you're dealing, it doesn't matter what country you're in. If it's a South American country or a third world country or America, you're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with egos. You're dealing with people that want power, that want money, that want control. And I think in third world countries the corruption is more blatant, but in the Western world it's just become more sophisticated. Whereas, denying the blacks, African Americans the vote, denying the women the vote, it's such an archaic and inefficient form of discrimination. Now with electronic ballots and electronic voting, and I've seen some other documentaries that'll just blow your mind on how to really rig elections so that to the people in power's benefit. So you have egos and you have people that want this control, and it doesn't matter what country it's in. So we as the people are responsible to hold them accountable and to take an active role and interest about what is going on. And the election, I've seen so many documentaries that just expose what fraudulent practices go on in all spheres of life. And it'll just blow your mind. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope this, in the comment section, it provokes some good discussion on what your thoughts are and what you think solutions are. But I think the first step is just becoming educated and realizing that anyone has an invested interest in an outcome. You can't place your trust in them. You have to find truth for yourself, and this goes all spheres of life, from the political system to the corporations to religion, spiritual practices. It's just really, we have to become our own truth sayers. We all have to go within and find that truth within, and really not wean our dependence upon the external system, external sources, external media, and really become investigators of truth ourselves, and using common sense and seeing what do people have to benefit by a particular outcome. And that really reveals where their biases are going to lie. Thanks very much for listening.